Islam, Morris. Oh, they're comfy, all right. See you walking on clouds out of shoes. Islam, Morris. Let's rise and do our honors. Face these. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, Father of the universe. Allah, Father of the universe. Father of love. Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector. My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. His holy prophet. And overthrow Ali. Ashe. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your cards are for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, in your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Ali. To the members of the Moor Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet Noble Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is not on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest. The ones that speak against your divine national principles The one that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples, act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish Science Temple of America are empowered to make law and enforce laws and to assist the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the Moorish Americans. Act 2. All members are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of Moorish America. No citizens are to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all must obey the laws of the government, because by being Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must now proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of the uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of all humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam. Temple do's and don'ts. Do's. Everyone must sign in for each class or event. Please print your application and provide phone and email contact info. As part of the MSTA family, we need to communicate with and look out for one another. 2. Guests may attend the first 5 classes at no charge. After this period, a donation of 10 notes per class is expected, or begin the process of being a member and paying dues, which is currently 25 notes per month. As told to us by the illustrious prophet, it takes finance to uplift the nation. Peace more. It takes finance to uplift the nation. 3. Once you have become part of the temple, it is imperative that you pay your dues each month. The dues are put toward rent, utilities, and all other expenses in relation to keeping your temple doors open. When one individual fails to make his or her monthly donation, the onus falls on the others, on the shoulders of administration and others that pay their dues. This is neither just nor divine. If you are unable to pay your dues, please speak with any of your administration, and another form of payment will be arranged, but you must speak with the administration about your situation. Although we do not expect dues from children, you are always welcome to make donations on their behalf. For the past several years, we have had some wonderful gatherings, which we intend to continue to do on an annual basis. If you are inspired to donate more than the monthly expectation, please feel free to do so at any time. Some of our members have already been doing so, and we greatly appreciate their generosity. We all agree that the work we are doing is the foundation for the future and the young and unborn. No one will have any say in temple business until they have been an active dues-paying member for at least 9 months to 1 year, and completion of all Back to Basics classes on Canaanland Moore's YouTube. As a temple member, please obtain clearance for any temple business from the administration. Please understand that this is your temple. However, please do not see it as a means to overcome your present difficulty and then leave. Ask not what your temple can do for you. Ask what you can do for your nation. Dues. Do attend class as often as you can. Study, study, study. And when you're done, study yourself. Do proclaim your nationality as the prophet told us to do. There is something very mystic about this. Once you have done it, doors begin to open. Do pay your dues. Do become involved. Everyone has something of value to offer. As a member in good standing, you can make a great contribution. Do support your temple by introducing anyone you know who will benefit from this movement. Do bring your children to class, but remember that others are here to learn. Don't expect anyone to solve your problems for you. We are all on a journey of discovery, and we are all here to support and encourage one another. However, at the end of the day, we all need to stand on our own nationality and birthrights. Don't become discouraged. Sometimes some of the concept may seem very strange due to the spell that we've been under for so long. Take the time to do your research so that you go from believing to knowing. Don't create conflict. If you have a problem with anyone in the temple, try to work it out with them with the 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you are not able to do this, speak to the administration. Oftentimes, all that is needed is a neutral party to help mediate. But first and foremost, look within and ask yourself honestly whether you are at least partially responsible for the issue. Try putting yourself in the other party's position. 4, don't wait for someone else to do what needs to be done. If your child is being a disturbance to others in the class, don't expect others to do what you know needs to be done. Once you have become a member in good standing, this means that you also have a voice. If you see where you can improve something, bring it to the attention of the administration. If you have an idea that would benefit the temple, please don't be afraid to bring it up. Don't attend the temple to push your agenda. If you are a Christian, you would not use a Buddhist temple as a platform for your dogma. We know that we are Moors and not Negro black colored. Please do not come to the temple to argue in the name of blackness or to look for recruits. Don't assume anything. As the prophet said, every Moor is not your friend and every European is not your enemy. In fact, we have had a few Europeans who have been of great assistance to the temple and the nation. 7, don't look back. And that's from the MSDA trustees and Mother Mocha El Bey. Islam. So we'll open for questions, but we just want to go around and if we could get everybody's little take on yesterday and how the vibe was and all that. Let's start with Mama Mocha. Sorry, I'll do it after. Mama Mocha, you want to start us off? All right.
Awesome. We were fortunate. We had a sister from Virginia. We had a contingent from Ottawa. We had people from Philly. We had our regular folks from right here. And, it was good. It was a lovely gathering. It was wonderful to be take a ride out to the island, to be away from the city for a little bit. I had a good time. I can only speak for myself. But it was lovely to get to, see our brothers and sisters from all over the place that we haven't seen for a while. And, there was lots of children, so they had fun, just, being children,
right,
playing games and what have you. The food was pretty good. Monterey.
But that was Monterey yesterday.
Oh, okay.
That was different caterers yesterday.
I know, exactly. So the food was pretty good. What's Monterey's food though? Okay, because Monterey usually does our catering.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. There was enough food that people were able to take stuff home.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. So
not sure. Any input from yesterday? Yeah. All right. That's good. We'll take that. Thanks, bro.
I had a good time. It was really beautiful day. It's fun. It's food. The vibes, the people. Things that you don't use. Great energy.
Islam. Fat boy?
That's what it's all about. It's all about the food, right? Anyways, in keeping with that theme, we had our fifth annual barbecue. So I've always wanted to do it on the island. I thought it was something, certain individuals, I won't mention names, said that, we were capable of doing this. We weren't there. And I felt insulted by that. And thus made sure it happened. Come on in and hope to want to make it an annual thing there. One of the things I've been noticing is the city's been filling up more and more. And I mean, we can speak to this. We were there for a bit by ourselves. There was that crew that came, the guys pulling the boat.
Yeah.
Usually that island is big enough that you can find a spot and be alone.
Yeah.
So, possibly the sun or whatever, but I'm saying I remember that being one of those facets.
Yeah.
But it just feels like a lot of people here. But what I felt was that we had our spot, and that it was our spot. And I felt that, we were able to sort of enjoy ourselves there without having anyone else's activities really so it was great to have all the people together. And as I said, I want to continue to do that at the island year after year.
Islam. What's over there? Brother Alfonso. Are you
Yeah. No, we got it good, boy. It was about 3 a.m. So next year, already I wait for next year. I need to get right? So
This one.
that's a little
Let's get it.
bit,
Yeah, straight up. What's there? Marley, how was the day yesterday? Fine, that's it? All that running up and down and fine, that's it? Tree climbing and all that stuff? Fine. How are you, Roots? Since you're here.
I would like to see faces, this from Virginia, and this from I'm always happy to be around this time, so they get to see certain faces that were, it's always a blessing to be around families.
Islam. Who else? Oh yeah, Brother Kibo.
That was my first barbecue, so. No, I didn't know what to expect, but it was amazing. My favorite part was just watching the children play around, just running around. I forgot how to play tag.
Yeah.
No, I bet you if I asked everybody, you guys would know how to play either. No, I asked someone yesterday, like, you're acting, see, we know. But I asked someone, he's like, tag, you're like, no. Put your foot in, and then the one child, he skipped his foot, and then they're like, no, you skipped too, blah, blah, blah. So it was amazing just to see, the next generation growing up together and coming up. So that was so thank you guys.
It's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
That's Omar. Right? That was Omar, early out, 6 a.m.
No problem. I do want to say one thing I want to add to this, though, is what I see what this is ultimately about, is us reclaiming our culture, which is really our children. And, as long as they're happy and had a good time, that's really all that this was about. Really.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like I've done my work. This is only the beginning.
Yeah.
So, and this should be a standard. Every other nation has their barbecues. You just don't hear about them because you're not part of them. When you may hear about them, you other people, right?
Islam. Well, yeah.
It was an honor to meet Canaanland Wars. I've been following Canaanland Wars for like 2 years now on YouTube. So it was good to put faces with the voices, And it was great vibe, great food, just great to be with them.
Islam.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome. Thank you for honoring us with your presence.
Yeah.
And then it's your first time to Canada, period. That's amazing. And I'm gonna make more lasagnas next time.
Say lasagna got bust up. Yeah. Elder Nor.
You know, I was a little bit late, so I had to work, but I had to get here.
Islam.
And I get downtown, couldn't find a place to park. My place is the $30, thank you. Park. Walk up to the taxi, they said $10. I said, how long I have to wait? He said, soon you're gonna go. Even if it's me alone, yeah, you're gonna go. Okay, good. And I made it.
Straight
I'm
Islam.
so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to see married.
Yeah.
Yeah, Islam.
Yeah.
Amari.
It was
My biological son.
great. My son couldn't get there because he had to, Joe.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I realized that they forget to stop. And I brought a little one with me.
Yeah. You saved the day right there.
We were laughing about it. What was the punishment being in our nation?
Yeah.
For getting the flag. We were laughing, calling Cujo 3 fingers after that. We would just take 1 finger. They just two.
So it was great. It was great. So happy.
Islam.
It's not.
Islam. Yeah, as usual, the whatever events that we're having, it's usually, something that, the Moors get together and, like Noble Joe Ali was saying, once the Moors are happy, he's happy. And, we're stressing Omar's point, to see the young ones there, having fun, and there was no issues, no complaining, no anything. It was just fun all day. It made it a beautiful experience, and thank you everybody again for being there and everybody who had their little piece to play to make it something. It was definitely worth the day yesterday.
And the children, to add to that, the children, when I saw them in the trees,
Yeah.
it reminded me when my grandmother used to send me to go pick the fruits in the tree. Yeah, so some other people might wonder, why are you always go in the tree? My father, no. I used to have to go pick those fruits in my grandma.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them in the tree. And
Sister Naya, you want to talk about the thing yesterday when we were with
Yeah,
the
we were
tree?
just sharing and looking at the tree. I was taking a lot of pictures of my mind, but I'm like, this tree looks like a tree of life. Yeah. And I'm like, look at it. It was nice to see how the tables are around the bottom of it. And it was being
Those are special trees.
Yeah. So there was, I don't know what's going on with that tree there, but
But under the tree, and then when it got ready, we just came back out.
Yeah.
It was like our home.
yeah. It was a great vibe. It was a great vibe. Yeah.
I'm happy we ended up on that shed. I'm never gonna forget the tree.
We want to go out and see that tree again.
What's really the best one, the big one, so was that little one right across, so. And that one, I think we would have got more rain on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Who picked the tree? Omar, you picked that tree?
Well, so what happened was initially, as you guys were there, I told you in the corners where I picked the overhang. Because there was rain there yesterday, but it was beautiful because the rain really didn't start. Cujo did a ritual.
Yeah.
But so I didn't pick that spot, but we were naturally drawn to the tree. Right? So it was the nearest one to the spot that I picked. The reason I picked that one was because it had a shelter. I was concerned that I booked the date back in January. So I had no way of knowing what the weather was going to be like on that day, 6 months later. So I made a plan that even if it did rain, it wouldn't ruin our time. Because of the flooding, I'll look into that. They forced us to move the spot. And I just picked the next spot I spoke to.
No, I think we should see that, go visit the tree market.
For real.
So yeah, those are some of the things that I wanted to do. I was saying to Cujo too that I wanted to do a couple of events on the island. But, you know, I think one of the things, some of the stuff, our Christian stuff that we have to overcome in terms of, you know, it's a little bit extra work. You gotta get down there. The parking's crazy. The amount of money to pay for parking is absolutely insane, right? And then, unless you want to wait in a 2-hour lineup, you got to pay your little $10 to get on the water taxi. Fair enough too, but you know, just it's a constant sucking of your energy just to move around. So, and then it just feels like it seems like it's a little more. There's a little more involved doing events set up on the island. So, but you know, I was thinking we're bringing the young ones there on different for different reasons. Like I said, all of those things create sort of obstacles. And one of the issues for us, and Mocha can probably speak to this, we prepare events and then there's not attendance on certain ones, or at least to a certain degree. So that's some of the stuff that we have to look at too. Islam.
I wanted to also ask you if there was things that you saw here that you could take back, and then things that
I don't even let's see what that text was.
No, he was just sneaking up.
Yeah, and if there's things that you're implementing there that we could probably do here.
I just saw the unity here, love, and we just have to, you know, across the board, just love each other more. And you know, this is a very nice temple. It's put together very well. And, yeah, I have a lot of ideas that we can take back
For real.
To Virginia.
Right. Islam.
So this is some of the stuff though too. I mean, we can speak on this in form, but we talked about the Morse who have been here for a while, but we should be having this inter-jurisdictional stuff going on all the time.
Yeah.
I was saying to the sister here that the mayors get together, all the mayors won't get together a number of times, right? Funny enough, Toronto's involved in all of those, right? It's somehow different than Virginia. No, we're not, right? We keep putting those options in our mind. Really, this should be, but of course, we know this illusionary border that they have that 90% of us can't cross for one reason or another. To be able, and that's part of the whole holding of our energy. And how do you know that wasn't the deal really? The deal really was to separate certain lines and put them in place and then put obstacles. That's really what's to happen. How do you get around that? Right? Then they put you in a situation where you're going to create, they're going to find some reason, some statutory code to tell you that you can't walk on your land. And they're doing it in a microcosm here within your own vehicles. All the time, they're holding you up, extracting finance from you, stopping you going where you need to be able to go to get stuff done. Great. Maybe this is just for thought. Every time I say this, should be taken into the park.
Yeah.
Not down to the basement.
Well, I mean, you know.
Like I'm saying, the park's around the corner. I mean, just throw it out there. Anyways,
Quick question, how long does it take for you to plan to get here, like, you know, flight and everything, just to?
Well, it was a real,
No, like, when did you plan, like, say to yourself, yeah, I'm going to
oh,
the
it
park?
was a couple of months ago.
Okay.
I planned it in May.
But this is some of the stuff that Mocha talks about too. And maybe in the future, we have a calendar here. Maybe what we can do, and the alumni will talk about this, we're getting the dates, right? Because I think for a lot of us, if we have enough time in advance, and I find this, if I have a date 6 months down the line, the universe will throw all kinds of stuff at it. But if I'm set in my way, that day is going to be my day. I don't care court, I don't care work. I booked this date off 6 months ago. That's what I do. I tell everyone I'm going to, even 4 months before, I can work from July 6th, I can't. And then what happens, automatically on that day, they got 3 jobs on that day.
Yeah.
And the men are mad because, bro, you know what I mean?
I told you.
That's the universe, right? Because they want your energy.
Yeah.
How long did it take you?
Well, I'm ready for it.
Out of schools.
I'm like scared of the woman. I find out about the date, or just like, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
I wanna be there. So, I'm already planning my return February.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
You guys for heads up, the next thing, since I mean, I just said this is a growing thing, but we're looking to have a camp out sometime either at the end of August, maybe first or second week in September, in a campsite somewhere around here, just an open day. So, just throwing that out here to the people here, if there's any sort of preferences.
End of August is better because after my birthday, September 5th, weather kind of gets kind of silly.
Yeah.
And then school starts.
Yeah, school starts September, so.
Well, I was thinking about that, the last week in August happens to be that Labor Day weekend. Then all of those places are gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Those campgrounds, so from my perspective, not to say that we can't do that, part of what I'm starting to really enjoy is hopefully a little bit of us being with us. Not saying that we don't do it, but just our experience, that's where we build this connection, right? We keep hanging out all the time, and we're gonna start to families. So, I was also thinking maybe the second week, like maybe that first week just after September. It's now, and I know, hey, I'm a ball in October sometime outside. You know this, right? I'm not saying September, but September no longer is that September goal. A lot of times September gets to your hottest days in September, right?
You had anything for today? Yeah. We also, so while we do that, ready up. If anybody has questions, and throw those up.
When
We'll-
something crossed my mind to pick up back to the outdoor event. You notice yesterday when we want someone to take a picture? The family picture?
Mm.
Who took that picture? Matt. Huh? Matt.
Matt, yes. That's okay.
Correct. And he's, you know,
Who is in context?
like he's more like hero.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like, there's something they learn something. They learn something. They even took pictures of us with him. You think it's over there? No, it's not over. It's not over there. They're gonna find out I know who this
He's a European,
Yeah.
but coming from Australia.
Mhm.
These are people.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, we live in a vacuum. or anything.
Right.
That's not what I mean, but I mean like it's a lot
The
of
more culture you are saying, more research about
because now he's gonna, if you go back and he's gonna maybe ask them or say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day, and it's always is. Mama always tends to come in every year. It's like, you know, I don't know if it's disappointment or fear or whatnot, but he always going to say, well, I guess who's supposed to be there was here, but that's not even a thought. Like, we shouldn't have a thought. If it was just you, say it was just you and Kuja who went down there, no one else. You guys set up and the food was there.
You had a feast.
Still didn't eat it. But here's what I'm saying, in my defense to that, okay.
So it doesn't matter who was there, it's just the energy and the fact that we did it. And once whoever was there is family, whoever couldn't make it for whatever reasons, or who didn't want to come, or who might not be supportive of what we're doing or whatever. But yeah, there's been barbecues. Like you see the pictures and stuff, you've had more. Right, last is what? Did you say Omar? Correct me? It was our fifth or sixth year? Fifth year, right? Fifth year, right? The 5 years, combination of a bunch of people, sometimes more, some people didn't have to see what's going on, but for who was there and to make it across, and then a lot of people thinking that it was going to be rained out and whatever, and we're still there, it's a beautiful thing. So we just keep it moving, we do what we got to do. Like Fred always says, it's not about like numbers or trying to acquire people and get more people here. It's like who's here is who matters. So that's what's important. Even the ones that ain't here matter as well, but they're not there for whatever reason they're not. So we keep the vibration moving. Like I just came off a phone with L1J. You guys may not be familiar with that. That's the brother who comes with his 3 sons. And they all have the black fairs, the silk fairs.
Yeah.
Right? And he hasn't been here in a minute. I mean, you know, I grew him. He's from my area. So I brought him into the movement a few years back. And then he did his own little research. And then, like, last year now, he took it upon himself. And probably because a lot of times, like what Prophet Sarah says in our Quran, you know, strength is exercised by a foe, right? So we don't know our strength until we have something that challenges him. So that's what probably motivated him and activated him. So he went through a little situation right now, and then he started. Sometimes that's what it takes, right? He hasn't been here for a few months now. He says he's in that transitional stage of moving and whatever. So he's like, no, I'm still there. It's good. I'm watching everything online and everything. Sometimes we don't see people who are out there as a reason, but it's bigger than the physical. You know, we're connected on a way greater scale. In the ether, so.
His son bought the house.
Yeah, because I was around the bus and then I seen Kiva, I met Kiva at the station, and then last week Lex, who's one of our base friends, came to the temple. He hadn't been here for me. I asked him about him. He said he had talked to him. I have his number somewhere. And I always think about him and I dismiss it. Don't call. So I had a thought when I see Kiva and his sons. I said, you know what, before I forget, let me call right now. He answered the phone, we spoke, and he said, you know, the time is moving closer to the city, so we'll be back to it. But yeah, just gotta support each other in whatever way we can, no matter what.
What's wrong?
Hold on. Hold on.
Count it back.
Hold on.
Count it back.
Look over him. No, my only thing is, and I really think you're saying that's correct. I just, the thought that came to my mind at the end there was like a worrisome older brother who just wants the best. I just like to see the people out there. So as I said, we have no control. At least 80 people can show up. We have next classes with 8 people there. Something that to me is just trying to understand all that. And that to me is where I think my position is in this. How is it that we can get 80 people out for 1 day a year? Yet this thing is pervasive in everything, right? And then you think about all the people that talk about, maybe what the temple doesn't do. The temple does doing what it should do, and people aren't attending. And we're back in here whining about stuff. Why didn't you come to the barbecue? Right? So just those things. That's my only. And those guys, your friend. Those are the ones that we do this for. Because he would be here if he could on those certain levels, right? But it's the other ones and those. Anyways, it's just still about trying to. I have this term. I call it an It's just an unawakened more. And I want them to be an awakening more. To am.
Oh, yeah. I'm cool.
No, wait a minute. You think that's a joke, right? But in the sound, right? That was one of those sounds. Right? So,
You know, TM that what?
Yeah, you gotta TM that.
it's not, but that's what I'm saying. That's part of it, right? It's not about trademarking anything, right? It's about giving it back. Right? It's not about owning anything, right? I mean, maybe that's where the fall happened. Trying to own something.
Straight.
Well, I just want to speak to this whole thing that we're talking about now. I think, I get where you're coming from, Omar. We want to see the people, we want to see them come out, we want to see the families, all the flats and everything else. But you know what? It is what it is. People are either want to come or they're not, and we don't really have that much control over it. But I think the thing more important than how many people are coming, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about quality. And people will come when they're ready to come. They'll come when they're ready.
Yeah.
People just can't make it every time. But we're doing what we have to do. We are advancing, we are developing, we are growing. Maybe some people don't see that development, and they just don't see it. we know what we're doing, and I think that's the most important thing, that we continue to do what we're doing.
That's it. Well,
Questions? Feel free. Huh? not tomorrow, Mocha. I'm not getting in that bag right now. Staying away from that bag. I know. I already.
I was gonna add to that. My mom and dad have 12 of us. 12.
Wow.
My mom's get it before she passed in transit. She got it.
Yeah.
All the rest, they don't get it. I'm talking about my mother and father's children.
Yeah.
Not all of you brothers. No, the 12 that they have.
Yeah.
Only me get it. And I'm there working on the rest.
All the rest of them.
Some half get it, quarter get it. Yeah. So that's the side. Yeah, still in mind. I'm not gonna stop working on them, and I'm gonna give up on them.
Noir, as long as you send it down the line too, so your posterity is gonna, so Noir has it.
Yeah.
See, my son come get it.
He's gonna send it to the next, so it's
Exactly.
good.
That's that.
Yeah.
So don't worry about how many don't get it. Just keep going. Just keep going.
No.
come on, I gotta rebut this. This to me is important. I think it does matter what was one. Well, this okay, maybe not for you guys. I feel from an administrative point of view, it does matter. Because and I was thinking about this just before in my rebuttal. I'm gonna quote nature, Albay. He said, tomorrow they said to you to be a more, this is how you're gonna get your finance. You be a more tomorrow. That sticks with me. If tomorrow they say you can't come to work unless you call yourself a more, you're a more. Because that's what they got us doing now. So really, to me, that's
They want to get promises from Jesus and back or something.
but we've been claiming all the stuff that they're telling us to through all lies. Talking about it, really about our liftness. And I'm not, they're right. So who's there supposed to be there? But I'm saying me. It's like me, I'm one of the team members. I want to keep getting guys to come through. If the guy doesn't get it now, how can I change my approach to get him to get it?
Mhm.
It's really not about me, I thought.
And he's not ready to wake up. Sometimes you have to throw water on them to
Right,
wake
and
them
then
up.
sometimes you gotta wait a bit, sometimes you gotta wait a bit,
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta give them a little vinegar, sometimes you gotta whatever.
Sure, but it's like the old, you know, you swim in water, they don't want to drink.
Exactly.
I ain't got time, I'm thirsty.
There you
So,
go.
Right.
Drink when you're thirsty, I guess.
And also said if you build it, they'll come, you know? So
Yeah.
that's-
Islam.
that's-
Keep doing it.
That's what we're doing.
Let's keep
The
going.
Islam.
quality of the people we have.
Right.
We just need to focus on the importance of the work of the community.
Right.
To get it right now, who's here.
Yeah.
And then those who are to draw and advocate. will-
But someone has to see the value of this, for them to say, okay, I wanna, you know, no matter what, I'm gonna make sure I'm there, I'm gonna support, I'm gonna, get my energy to it. If they don't see the value of it, then they're all just another.
Now
put
put that question out there. Is there a way to prove the value to this, or do they have to see it?
You know what? I want to answer that one. Many of them have seen the value because they've come here when they're in trouble with the law.
Mm.
They've gotten off the charge, or they're losing their house. They get their house. So they know the value of it,
Mhm.
right? And then they disappear. You know, I don't think that we need to really spend a whole lot of time.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to prove it.
But then they don't really see the value of it. This is looking at, like, when you say a benefit point of view. Because if they had seen the value, they would remember that.
You're right, there is a difference between the benefit and the value. They got the benefit, which was a very personal thing to them, but the value has to do with our nation. And they're not seeing that. They're
Yeah.
saying, well,
How can they benefit?
what can I get out of this?
Right,
And,
exactly.
you know, it doesn't really matter what happens to the rest of us, you know? You're right. there
So
is a-
that's sort of what we're all talking about, the realization when they see that this is about everybody.
That's right.
And then you lend a hand too, you know?
Right.
They wanted to just get their own businesses, all wanting to just build up their own business, nobody wants to sit at the same table. They want to, look at the same end goal, even though 13 businesses have
The
the same
same,
thing
yeah.
going on. They all
Same
want to do
products.
their own thing, but they don't all want to sit at the same table and say, yo, we both have the same goals in mind, so why don't we
Well, it's like what he's saying when he's saying, well, national character is one of the pillars, right? So if you have the national character, then automatically you're gonna start trying to do, okay, what's the nation, where we're at, what can we do to move forward?
Exactly.
You know?
That's the value.
Yeah, and some more?
I just been thinking that part of it to me is that it's still to me is just about a level of awareness, because everything that we're existing even now is still our stuff. Right? Whatever the thing that they're going after is still ours. So really, it's about their awareness of what the ours and theirs is, and it's really it's the wealth, whether you're a moral, whether you're a corporate thing, you're still going after something that still belongs to us. It's still the truth, but it's been distorted. And the very thing that they're going after in that realm is the very thing that's keeping them from getting that. So it's really about them waking up to what this really is. It's really about an awareness of it. Huh? So I find that, because to me, I think it's really about the indoctrination that has happened to them, right? Because most of us will say we're Trinidadian or we're Jamaican or we're this or that. So we're identifying with certain things that pertain to human existence and stuff, but then we're caught up being Canadians trying to run after some money, which really is, the real money, which is the gold and silver, which was ours in our process, which has been perverted, right? And then if we understood that that's what that was, then we really be claiming what's ours, right? So really, to me, it's just about a level of ignorance or opposite that, awareness to what this really is. Because then we look at the obstacles that keep us from getting to those things. Mm-hmm. What are they? Right? Because I was thinking about this today. I was saying to myself, okay, well, I think what the deal is that you need to get, I was saying to you yesterday, you need to get a certain level of awareness, or no, of comfort to be able to get certain things done. And if they've gotten too caught up with just having to look after yourself, then you're never going to be able to get to those next levels. And we as a people, in general, most of us are struggling just to get the basics. Most of us don't even have conveyances and stuff to get around. The very things that, or have our own homes. If you don't even have those things, how are you ever going to be able to get to those next levels? Then that's when we start talking about that stuff. Then all of a sudden they start bringing in all this stuff about how money doesn't matter. And, it's really about the spirit, whatever. Oh, yeah, that's cool. You got a cottage and a house. You got a car, and you got some money in the bank. And then you tell me to me it's about finding God. Right? So anyways, that's why I was just running back statements about them getting it or not. I think we all get it. We're just confused about how that relates to us. That to me is where the separation of this is, or the issue. Getting what this really is about, how this really applies to everything that's happening in your life. Because we know this now. We walk around and we see it all. It's like the matrix, everything's been pulled down. You see the guy behind the scenes now.
Yeah. It's
One day at a time.
Sweet Jesus on after that, or we don't?
Hallelujah!
Praise the Lord.
We got some sweet Jesus in there. We might be going somewhere. Oh, we can bring the crew over?
No, we go leaving it. We go over there.
Very much. So 1913.
Yeah.
We're good. Our babies still.
You know,
There was an article, Gloria Malone, June 19th, 2019, talking about the Latino pull towards Islam. And one of the quotes out of the book, or one of the higher ended quotes out of the book: before Spain was colonizing and murdering indigenous communities in present-day South Central and North America, they were under Moorish control. Right? Before Spain was colonizing and murdering indigenous communities in the present-day South Central and North America, they were under Moorish control.
What What is that?
Cultural crossroads. Understanding the Latino pull toward Islam.
That was an article? No.
Cultural crossroads. Article. Cultural crossroads. Understanding the Latino pull toward Islam. And it's by Gloria Malone.
Who's that?
Gloria
Yeah.
Malone.
I wonder if that doesn't have nothing to do with the whole QT. Ever heard that term? QT?
Mm.
Something with, us being slaves at that time, and it's something with that and Independence Day. No,
Yeah.
the 4th of July, people celebrate in America for some reason. I don't know what the celebration is for.
Yeah, it's supposed to be independence.
It's supposed
Yeah.
to be Independence
Yeah.
Day or something.
Same thing as July 1st or whatever.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Okay, but then there was something on June 19th.
Yeah, which was the slave being free or some
Yeah.
BS, but that was only in Texas or something.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you have Asiatics wanting some type of restitution for a slave, whatever, and some people over there around the corner, down the hill or whatever, they got something, and then they're trying to attach to their thing. But then it just ultimately keeps everybody at that same plateau. Just like I say, oh yeah, thank you, and everybody, hey, let's go celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Oh yeah, let's go celebrate whatever. But they don't know what they're celebrating. They're just going out there shoot firecrackers, and then that's it. Like, you know what I mean? That's the benefit of, you know, or food or whatever. You know. You know? Yeah. But yeah, putting that out just so that these individuals are very familiar with the communities here being indigenous, and that they were Moorish. And it's known that these indigenous communities practice Moorish culture. And again, using We Are All Moors, Nur Majid, that talking about in order for a Jew to be a Jew, he's got to know something Moorish. In order for any type of Spaniards to come over here and say that they saw certain people that they saw in Spain and all that stuff, they're talking about Moors. Even though they might have dressed like Indians that had feathers or whatever like that, they're talking about Moors. They saw Moors over here, just like they saw over there. Christopher Columbus went West Indies, he saw people that he saw in India or whatever. So there's definitely a relation.
And the people in Japanese, when they go into the north, they find the Ani, the dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah. That theme. And again, once we accept the fact that, you know, all the different names are brands. Moor's the name globally that they know our people as. So when the black whoever's are saying black indigenous this and different tribes, Cherokee and all that stuff, we always go back to the reference point that Noble Drew Ali was Cherokee. He never called himself Cherokee. So if he was Cherokee and never called himself Cherokee, then why are you guys still playing that you're Cherokees and all that? Even though you have documented fact that Indians kicking black people out the stuff because they're not the right tribe, and you didn't get the test for us to see if you're really part of this or whatever like that, so we're gonna kick them out. They're mad that they're getting kicked out of a tribe and then not realizing that, okay, well, you know, tribe is no different than, you know, Tennille's Patty store. They don't want you in there. They're gonna kick your ass out. Like, that's just what it is. It's nothing personal, but everybody knows where we stand, except us knowing where we stand. And then, you know, again, you have Gloria Malone telling people, hey, the indigenous communities are under Moorish rule. So obviously they didn't have supreme jurisdiction here. That's why we keep talking about the when you hear natives and aboriginals and all these people, and they start making this first people and all this type of stuff. Impossible, because first people would have been traveling the world. They wouldn't have just been limited to North America only. But we're the founders of civilization, but the only place we've been is North America. Probably not. You're probably not really the founders like that. You might have inherited some stuff, you know what I mean? But to say that they're the ones, just like when we look at the Australia Aborigines, right? They're the first people. But if they never been anywhere else than Australia, if they can't say, yeah, well, in our culture we had boats and we traveled all the world or whatever like that, you guys don't know anything about the world. You just know that one area. Obviously, you think you're the first people there. If that's the only place you've been. You know what I mean? Right? You know? Bro, Yasun, you ready?
Sure.
All right.
Or we're
Oh yeah, Rennie got to give us what up? Is on, man?
Hey, it's an accident on the highway.
Oh yeah, that was you?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought
That was
like what? Messing up the stuff. Why you getting your stuff together back there, Rennie? We were asking the Moors to give their input on yesterday and what they got out today. So we'll put you on the spot right now. Get you in early. Yeah. Let's put it out there. Put it out there.
So you're like,
My grandma's brother.
Islam.
My grandma's
yesterday's barbecue. What's that? Turnout was, the rain held up for us till we docked back to back to and then I guess yeah, it was good. It was a good turnout. Some horse across the Nigeria border and over. So thanks for over. Sister So that's like it's good seeing other Moors come from different so-called jurisdictions, building taking the journey. We got plenty of Moors around here. We don't even see, and we got Moors coming from over there, coming over here. So it's all like that. It's really peaceful, It was a lot of fun. Food was good as usual. We got much to say. It's love. You already know we enjoyed it.
Give thanks.
The vibration was high, so it was good.
Good. Islam. If you got your Qurans out there and question people, just keep your questions. Anything that comes up, just throw it out.
You know how pretty more there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That little midget guy.
His name is Todd, okay?
He's got a big name for such a small.
Then you can get something out of this meeting.
Yeah, if you got your Qurans, we're going with the soul of man.
Eva, you don't mind?
Chapter 38. It's 38.
Yep, chapter 38.
38.
Page 86. If you have the smaller Quran.
If you have the small Quran, if you have the big Quran, page 45.
Islam, Sunnah. Holy instructions from the Prophet, the soul of man. The blessing, O man, of thy eternal part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly. It is inscrutable. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, call not these the soul. They are its actions, but they are not its essence. Raise it not too high, that thou be not despised. Be not thou like unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it with the sense of brutes, nor be thou like the horse and the mule, in whom there is no understanding. Search it by its faculties, know it by its virtues. They are more in number than the hairs of thy head. The stars of heaven are not to be counted with them. Think not with Arabia that the soul is parted among all men. Think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men. Neither believe thou with the sons of Egypt that every man hath many. Know that as thy heart, so also thy soul is one. Doth not the sun harden the clay? Doth it not also soften the wax? As it is one sun that worketh, even so is one soul willeth, even so it is one soul willeth contraries. As the moon retaineth her nature, though darkness spreadeth itself before her face as a curtain, so the soul remaineth perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. She is immortal, she is unchangeable, she is alike in all. Health calleth her forth to show her loveliness. An application anointed her with the oil of wisdom. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. She was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Justice could not give her to thee exalted by virtues, nor mercy deliver her to thee deformed by vices. These must be thine, and thou must answer for them. Suppose not death can shield thee from examination. Think not corruption can hide thee from inquiry. He who formed thee, of thou knowest not what. Can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? Perceive not the cock in the hour of midnight. Exalted he not his voice to tell thee it is morning? Knoweth not the dog the footsteps of his master? Flieth not the wounded goat unto the herb that healeth him? Yet when these die, their spirit returneth to dust, thine alone surviveth. Envy not to these their senses, because quicker than thine own. Learn that the advantage lieth not in possessing good things, but in the knowing to use them. Hast thou the ear of the stag, or were thine eyes as strong and piercing as the eagle's? Didst thou equal the hound in smell? Or could the ape resign to thee in taste? Or could the ape resign to thee his taste? Or could the tortoise her feeling? Yet without reason, what would they avail? Perish not all these like their kindred? Hath any of them the gift of speech? Can any say unto thee, therefore did I do? The lips of the wise are as the doors of a cabinet. No sooner are they opened, but treasures are poured out of them. Or poured out before thee. The lips of the wise are as the doors of a cabinet. No sooner are they opened, but treasures are poured out before thee. Like unto trees of gold arranged in beds of silver, are wise sentences uttered in due season. Canst thou think too greatly of thy soul? Or can too much be said in its praise? It is the image of him who gave it. Remember thou its dignity forever. Forget now how great a talent is committed to thy charge. Whatsoever may do good, may also do good. Beware that thou direct its course in virtue. Think not that thou canst lose her in a crowd. Suppose not that thou canst bury her in thy closet. Action is her delight, and she will not be withheld from it. Her motion is perpetual. Her attempts are universal. Her agility is not to be suppressed. Is it at the uttermost parts of the earth? She will have it. It is beyond the regions of the. Is it beyond the region of the stars? Yet will her eye discover. Inquiry is her delight. As one who traverseth the burning sands in search of water, so is the soul that thirsteth after knowledge. Guard her, for she is rash. Restrain her, for she is irregular. Correct her, for she is outrageous. More supple is she than water, more flexible than wax, more yielding than air. Is there aught that can bind her? As the sword is in the hand of a madman, even so is the soul to him who wants discretion. The end of her search is truth. Her means to discover it are reason and experience. But are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious? How then shall she attain unto it? General opinion is no proof of truth. For the generality of men are ignorant. General opinion is no proof of truth, for the generality of men are ignorant. Perception of thyself, the knowledge of him who created thee, the sense of worship that owes unto him. Are not these plain before thy face? And behold, what is there more that men need to know?
Islam.
Well, let me read that again. That's perception of thyself, the knowledge of him who created thee, the sense of worship that owes unto him. Are not these plain before thy face? And behold, what is there more that men needed to know?
Any thoughts? Put those up. Any thoughts on the chapters? Any verses that stood out? Well, we have up here.
Keisha has a question. So I read this. Who would you refer to as she
Who?
in the passage?
She is wisdom, I think, for sure.
What was she was So.
Who would be referred to as she in the chapter?
So you see, like for example, they have they would have, for example, in the prayer, we say Father of the universe, right? Meaning the all but really it's feminine. Soul, there's going to be some type of masculine counterpart, right? But we move toward feminine more to try to bring back that matriarchal idea that it's matriarch first and then patriarch. So like even if we do it like Right. Right. He's in her, but her is not in he. Right. He's in she, but he's not. He can't stand alone. Like they stand together in unity and she, but in he, it's just him.
I go for female, and woman.
Right, yeah. Right.
And in man, you have mom, right? Yeah. That's always based on.
Woman.
So and for example, something like the perception that you got of coach got standing out for you because like why they saying she? We're talking about the soul, or we're talking about man, or we're talking about why is this she reference coming up? Because that's where it's supposed to really go back to. In order for us to really have society run properly, you know what I mean? That's why when we go to
If you think about the first type of structure of government, right? That's the household.
All right, that's all. Can you see all the questions?
sure, put them all up.
So if female that has, why do women have to be your husband?
Why does?
Women have to be your husband, but a husband, supports.
Yeah, I'm gonna that's what I was gonna
So it's like it's female, but it's not really physical. It's more feminine energy. So he's presuming that, and she's presuming that as well, then yeah, they each other. It's not directly a woman has to obey a man. But he's coming off of that feminine vibration and dealing with that matriarchal principle, then yeah, you guys fall in line with each other. And if he's acting like that, it's more or less because he's following suit with that nature, right? Following her lead. What do you mean as far as what in the where in the as far as in the Quran?
Yeah. Now we'll just go over it again. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Right? So think about where we're at as our people, and whether it's husband or boyfriend or whatever like that, that's negated that position of supporting the wife and the children. That's supposed to be something that you just do. You don't. Some children's services shouldn't be having to tell him to support.
Right? To be keeping the baby while you going to work. Both of us going to work.
That's the reality we have right now.
Based on us not having the right mindset of how stuff's supposed to run. Because we think that stuff is supposed to be patriarchal. Like for example, the idea of wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of the household. It sounds like she has the bigger role than him.
Of course.
Reading this, all she has to do is obey him. Right? But remember, it's not if he is just like Brother Yasin said, if he's living by the principles that govern society to run properly, why wouldn't she obey him? He's not telling her to do nothing wrong. He's not telling her to do nothing negative. He's not telling her to lay here, let me walk over this puddle with you or whatever.
Christian Bible.
In a sense, I think a lot of it was probably written because of the times and the way things are. Everything's patriarchal now. We're trying to bring it back to that matriarchal thing where
Why are you still seeing a woman as obeying?
No, but again,
I just said it goes both ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, then we should change that phrase.
But I'm saying that was written then. If you know better, then you
You
do
do
better,
better.
right? You might say that.
It's hard for people that if we're not in the knowing like that and hear that. Coming from a religious concept that we're running away from based on that type of, substitute to a man that a lot of women have experienced.
Right.
It's hard to now think coming here and being free
Yeah.
and then having those words put on you.
Right. But Brother Omar,
Let me explain a little piece of that from her.
Sure.
Like, in the church or the Christian, I've been there, I grew up in there, so what my parents, Jehovah's Witness, they always say, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. My grandmother church, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. It's supposed to be Mother, which is you, Father, and Son. Picture this way compared to what it used to be. So whenever you say about obey and whatever, just picture who's mother. And what was showing you who is mother. From where?
And to take away
In other words,
the
they don't even
abrasiveness
mention,
of
they
a
don't even
God
mention
song.
mothers in that Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They don't even mention.
Why do we need to say that? That's very oppressive.
no, it's not oppressive.
It's not
If
oppressive.
the
Because honestly, when it was said, I just thought, oh my God. it's-
right, because you're thinking about it from the perspective of how you were taught.
Yeah.
Which is not where that's not what that's saying.
That's why.
Right? That's giving woman her power back because she's taking care of the household.
Yeah, the power.
Right? All she now if the let's say the husband saying let's say obey the husband means, oh honey, here's the check. I just got paid, here's the check, do what you have to do with it. You wouldn't that's not what's wrong with obeying that. If the husband comes home every time and says,
The only reason why it sounds wrong is because if you are thinking about a man.
you're thinking about it wrong.
that you don't want to do as a person or as a woman, that sounds, yeah, for sure.
Experience.
Yeah.
And we're basing things off of our personal experience.
Correct.
Coming here, assuming that this is to be free,
Yeah.
hearing things like that
Yeah.
is not free.
Yeah, but that's because of the wrong perspective of what
That's why
obey
we're
is,
trying to
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, you're right, you're right, from the word, from the actual wording, just like when we say we're black people, right? And then we're using it in that context. So obviously we take it in that perspective. But from studying with the more science here,
Yes.
we always know that grandma runs everything. We know that mother, she's the boss of everything, period.
Okay,
So even though it's saying-
you're saying that, but at the beginning when we started, we said Father Allah.
Right.
Right,
That's going back again to.
okay, but we study words, right? And we know that father goes to paternity, which when the minute you start talking about paternity, you're talking about mother. So the science that we're on here is that everything is mother. So even when it says him, we already know it's her. Right?
So
Like if you say the word man, right? This is the last thing I'm gonna say. The
Okay.
word man actually means woman,
Yes.
because man comes from the womb of a woman.
Yes.
So woman, so the minute you see man, you know it's woman.
It's woman, right?
So because we're on that understanding, that understanding here, we don't, yes, we can go and pick out every word and say we should, maybe we should do this, change whatever. When the prophet came, that's what he came with, because our people were at a certain perspective, which was the patriarchal perspective, right?
Right.
So don't take that as they might say that, but we know that the people here and the people once they come to this, we're on matriarch. So we know all respect due to mother. There's nothing more. Grandma runs the thing. Doesn't matter how daddy wanna go on, eat something, whatever. When his mother comes, he's like a baby.
Yeah.
When you say something?
No, I'm gonna say, when you say Father God Allah, we end off with Allah, because Allah, we end off with feminine, right? Because it's a feminine term, right? Allah.
So I'll give you an example too. Like years ago, we changed the he to she when we would say the prayer, right? People had issue with that on certain levels because Or you changing the proper words of the Mama Mocha leadership prayer? What do you say, Mama Mocha?
Pardon?
When we say our affirmation prayer, what do you say?
I entertain them.
That's it, right?
I entertain them. Allah is God.
You say when everybody is saying Father, you're saying I hear you all the time. You say Mother. You say Mother.
I don't have to. You know who says Mother all the time?
Yes, sir.
I know Fortune does, but you
Fortune does, but also they were at the barbecue yesterday. I can remember with the baby. She's read out the baby is on already. I must have.
okay.
I never remember. He always says Mother. Right. Always. I don't say it.
Well, I heard you say she at least.
You hear
Sometimes I say it, because, you know,
Maybe like I said, I entertain.
That's right.
Right?
All in all, like if we're going back to being one, if we're understanding the oneness of things, we're not gonna separate him and her all the time and say, oh, him or her, this means something, this means greater than or less than. If we're understanding of how to unite the soul, right, with like just
What it is.
you know, you're not looking at that all the time, not taking away from anything you have to say, but also if we're speaking from a standpoint where maybe you're a single woman, maybe you came out of a relationship that, you know, that wasn't too healthy, that might play something on your psyche also. For a woman who's probably in a relationship where that man is molded the way that she wants him to be, and their relationship is just, you know, a chemistry that works, that doesn't really play a negative thing on their brain when they hear something like that, because they're in the same harmony and whatnot. But again, it's all about their personal experience with the conflict. All that to say, we have to make it what we want it to be.
Like,
You know?
to me, I'm not it might be offensive, but realistic level, there's only so many women who are not going to be their husbands, but who could take that role and actually make things conductive. Because look at this movement, right? Look at a lot of movements. Like in the church, you'll see a slew of women, and all of them are calling Father and have no problem, right? But in something like this now, where we're saying it's a matriarchal movement, it's feminine energy gear. It's still mostly men in here who are pushing that agenda, right? So how many women are there really ready to take that leadership role so the man can obey them and then navigate through this thing the right way, where they're dealing with it on a level where, okay, everything's gonna happen. That's why Prophet's carrying her, because we're trying to build her back to this place where we should be obeying her. But she's not in a position that, because she's distracted with a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's the men who are taking up the leadership role and are pushing the vibration on a certain level. So yeah, for now, maybe she should obey him on a level.
That's the most satisfactory answer I've ever heard. So
Yeah.
now, let's just take it a step further. When we get to the place where the women are, you know, know themselves and are doing, then at that point, will the men have a problem with the wording, husbands obey your wives? I'm just asking.
It should be
No problem.
That statement, I feel right now, like the guys are saying, it's not that, because the prophet wrote that, and at time it was the patriarchy was being pushed. It's all about that. And most of those people are coming out of the church where that's all they know. So it's like, what do you mean woman is God, woman is this, woman? That's now it's easier to accept when you know yourself and you're on a certain vibration. Back then, the indoctrination was so hard that it would be so hard to grasp. And then were they ready to be in that position? No, I don't think so. Because they were broken down so much at that time.
The woman was more broken down than like the men, because the men had to take. Men usually were out there in society while the women were home. So for the woman to obey her husband, because he's out there gaining certain knowledge, and like the prophet did, he went and did that to uplift all humanity. He went out there to go find certain things that we needed, and the woman wasn't really out there doing that. So I think that's why he worded it that way in a sense, because the men were waking up and
you know, with the gathering of men, more if the women are in relationships with who are, you know, their counterpart, it would be easier because you're in a relationship, and then more easier when you're in, you know, a family setting like this at a temple. And I always want to point back to the same thing. What it said, it said, man, be supportive of your women and children. It was saying for both parties to do the same thing in a sense, you know. It wasn't just
But yes, the wording is a little hard, but it's for a certain reason. And like I've always wanted to express that. I've always felt that way, but it's only right now the universe made me be able to convey it in a way where it was be able to be understood or received, right? I've always felt that, and at a certain time I want to say because it sounds offensive somewhat, and some people can take offense, but really and truly, most of the feminine energy is ready, but the females aren't all ready.
Yeah. It goes back to like, you see, baby, mother carried them for 9 months. The other probably is in England working. Mama here pregnant with a baby. 9 months after baby born, daddy come home or whatever. And now you still have to go to work. And you're the first one to see how you walk or how we do this. You're the first teacher. No, the teacher don't even know herself. What's gonna happen to this baby? What's gonna happen to this baby? That's what happened to us. So now we're correcting that. Making mothers know you're a God. These are our children. You take care. You take care of them. These are our children.
Omar, yeah.
So much. But
What's all good?
But anyways, the last part, and I think I expressed this to people, I think back in the days, I think it was the empresses who were out. Of course they were. And it was the men who were at home looking after the children. That's how it was. That's how I feel it was.
No,
Because you guys were running.
Hold on.
Different
It's
time.
more logical that the mom would be.
My point is,
I don't think so.
No, hold on a second.
breastfeeding.
I'm saying to a certain point, yes, the feminine energy would have to have been there for that process. The actual process of the growth process, I think it was a masculine one. That was what the whole part of it was. We are both of those energies combined. The feminine one creates, and the masculine one is what forms it. Those are the energy types.
I'm not coming off that when I say you see when you were mentioning about the uplifting with noble job of the woman, that's what I'm talking about. Of the woman, because it's the woman where the problem is right
Yeah, but if we're trying to get women in, those working alone going well.
Well,
yes.
If you
No, that would.
I'm thinking you're lying.
We're trying to explain to you. We're trying to explain to you.
That's the
Break it
part,
down.
but if someone come in and don't see the ask that question,
No,
they
it's
hear
good that
that
you
they're
ask.
on.
It's very good that you ask.
No, but that also plays into the thing of if they're not open-minded enough to even go there, then they probably need to stay out there,
that's exactly where I was coming at too.
right?
Because
No, but it's all fair. It's all fair that you ask.
No, but again, like it's not.
that's not what was needed.
Yeah, if somebody.
All right, July.
Order.
Because remember, somebody like, let's say, for instance, we're coming here because we want to learn more.
So hold on for a second, but you say you want to learn, right?
Yeah, that's.
So that means learning. Doesn't mean coming in here with preconceived things. So learning would be.
Oh, no,
That's not fair.
that's
Nobody
what-
gets
that's
preconceived.
not
That's
fair.
not
That's
fair.
what asking questions about.
I know, that's a great
question.
And we're open to that. And
Exactly.
we're explaining to you.
And
And then what you were then qualifying is that we should have changed that, because that is a disturbance to some people. You don't want to.
Quiet.
That was a general understanding based on how it was worded, and we're saying that for individuals coming in that don't understand it, that those wordings are going to make you not want to come.
And we just answered that by saying that if,
And
that
you're
if.
saying that that's correct.
Well, you see, it's also like to take the.
Okay.
Nobody's on
Oh,
the-
Don't run from it, but you have to pass that to, you need to pass that.
Okay, yes.
Otherwise, there's no way else.
Oh.
I didn't think you should have to do this, sorry.
No, we don't need it. No, I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Okay, you
All I was trying to say, just so that you can be clear, because you know, it's like anything that you come into, right? If you don't know about it, then certain things are gonna seem strange to you. But we're looking, because you're making a comment that you're just new to this, you're trying to learn. What we're making this clear to you is this is going to be one of those crazy learning curves. That's what this movement is about. If you're wanting the other stuff, that's not what this is. And I think all of us can agree to that. You're going to hear and see stuff that you've never heard and seen before, because that's what this is about. All right, anyways, the point being, I'm going to finish what I was going to respond, which was that comment alone is being said from a perspective that there is a greater part to that, and we are going to be able to explain that. And you're saying to us that should be changed to help people feel more comfortable about stuff. And what we're saying is that's not what this is about. And those things, if it touches you on that level, that puts your back up, then like you said, we've opened up the forum and we're explaining that to you, making it very clear that this is a matriarchal thing, and that there are things that were written that may not seem to match with that, or who knows, if you start to learn more about this, you never know. We found out that people have gotten into that literature and changed the literature, but you don't know that. But then you're taking that assumption that that's what that says, as if somehow that's supposed to be keeping women in servitude. And that's not the case.
But you can't say that, Omar, because you're not a woman.
Thank
Okay?
you.
You can't say that because you're not a woman.
Quick statement before I give it to the sister. So like, sort of saying that you hear that and you come in the wrong impression, right? So you ask the question and then we try to break it down and then we come to maybe some type of resolution or understanding. So as far as what was said, like, did it clarify a little more now, right? So that's what the thing is. So you guys did the right thing. So if certain people are gonna come in, or whatever, and you don't understand something, you're just gonna hold a breath and not say nothing, then that's the problem. But you ask them the question now, and then we try to build together and get a clarification, then that's amazing. So I think nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong. Part of this movement, right?
We're learning from you too at the same time, right? So it's a dialogue, you know, it's not just a one.
Islam. We have divine instructions for the whole prophet. And divine means from God, and holy means pure. So we have marriage instructions for man and wife and the prophet. And in this chapter it says, submission and obedience are the lessons of her life, and peace and happiness are her reward. So if these are divine instructions from the holy prophet, if you have a problem with the words that are in the Quran, which is to build character, you're actually saying you have a problem with the holy prophet. So when you're first coming in, it would help you to study the prophet Muhammad, to understand the laws that he lives by, that he gave in the divine constitution, and what's written in the Quran. So that's your answer. Study the prophet Muhammad in the original sense, not anyone else's portion of understanding.
Yeah.
Understand the process. Keep the prophet up front, and then it will become easier to understand.
That's why the prophet is, well, we have one of those, show her.
Or the
Yeah, to show her why the prophet comes to the woman. It's attacking humanity. All of humanity, we're lost. We're lost. So, but uplifting back, bring us back to where we are.
But whether male or female come out of the womb, right? If the instruction is right while that being is in the womb, then that being is gonna come up honoring and knowing how to approach and deal with whatever everything else they have to deal in life. And if she's right, they'll come out right. So if the man's coming out wrong and he's abusive and he thinks that he rules and he's dominant, that has part to do with what was going on when he was in the womb.
And to add to that, like, when you hear those words of submission and obedience, those things sound oppressive and they sound negative because you think of unhealthy relationships. When you think of a healthy relationship between a man and a woman, that doesn't really play a negative part in your safety.
Yeah, so perfect example. So like, say, like you give an example, or I don't know, say you give an example of what a baby is, right? So say your husband every day is telling you, woman, you better tell me what to do every day, huh? You better make sure you tell me what I need to do every day. Right? That's obeying, and then you obey him. And then you start
So
telling
that's what to do
exactly.
every day, because you're the boss.
Right? So it's perception of how you're looking at the thing, like God was saying, where you're coming from. Right? So, but we got to change the narrative and switch around the polarities. Right?
So if he wants you to set submission, you got to change submission to God, not to us. He's supposed to be in the same. You know what I mean? And then God is, if you really so.
I don't want to hear 50 people talking about it.
Sorry, I missed that initial question that sparked all that, dealing with youth man, but that's great that you guys worked it out. All I was gonna say is I came up through the Christian church also, right? But there's a difference, to me, there's a difference on both sides of being submissive to a man or a woman as opposed to being submissive or obedient to someone operating divinely. You know what I mean? Like obedience, that's at the top for the Most High from the get-go. The one is like just obey, right? So if you have your man or your woman and they're with that mindset from the Most High, why wouldn't you want to be, you know what I mean? I don't know, that's just from me.
You want to more look at it like in harmony, I would say, oh my gosh, he's telling me what to do, right? And he's not telling me what to do every minute of the day, like, if you guys are, again, it's more of a submission to obedience to God.
Right?
Sorry. You know, because I really want you to understand where you're coming from, because we're not trying to.
So I fully understand.
But at least like for instance, right? My sister, for instance, she's coming from a 23-year situation where they went through the process of being Rastafari to Christians to Kabbalah to a lot of different, yeah, right? And they went to, you know, they were in a lot of mysticisms together, right? So it was kind of like that happened, and it didn't go well after because of, I guess it would be like the man feeling that he was above instead of the unity, right? So again, us coming here, we understand unity, we understand that, but we just want clarification because I was married for 13 years. So we're coming from a situation where we understand submission, we understand that, we get it. So to hear it here, it threw us off completely. And that's where we're coming from. Because we're not coming from somewhere where we haven't studied. We're coming from a place of wanting to have proper understanding. And it's not a good feeling when you're coming from somewhere trying to understand and being kind of, you know what I'm saying?
You
So
said
that's
something
where,
before, no? Yeah, that's what I remember.
yeah.
I remember, see, now that's another thing.
Yeah.
That was over a year ago.
Yes.
Probably a couple years.
But-
No, it's a year ago. We already had this for a year. So
Yeah,
we had the
yeah,
year.
we're just before you left.
Just before, yes, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, so we have been studying, and we're trying to, because I even said it to her
But we need to
couple
come
months
around
ago.
to-
Exactly,
That's
that we
right.
need to start coming
That's
more,
right.
because we need to get into it, so that's why we made it a point to start, to make sure that we're here. So, we're gonna have a lot of questions, because I have a lot of questions, because I wanna know.
It's
So,
good.
I know what I mean,
It's
I'm
very
not trying to hear, I want to be here, I
Very
want to know. So,
Very good.
oh, sorry,
Not good.
yes,
What's your time? The whole thing with what the sister was saying, just study the Quran, you know, study the one-on-ones, just study the divine constitution of bylaws. And you'll just become clear to you. Because each and every one of us, we're given instructions. I'm saying like it's like you're building a table, you have instructions. You know, you go into instructions, you ain't gonna build a table right. You know, you gotta have it's like, you know what I'm saying, you have like 3 legs instead of 1, and the other one is forgetting that you read the instructions, right? You might.
yes.
So we have instruction like the sister was saying, so conform to your, conform to your, Quran, right? Whenever you're feeling like alone or something, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're reading like a poem sometimes when you read this, you know what I'm saying? Just read this, your Constitution dialogue. You know, and you don't, there's other stuff involved, like, you know, of course, you know, they driver's license, taxes, all that stuff, right? But that's not what, you know what I'm saying, the thought didn't bring that first. You're just trying to get within right first before, you know what I'm saying, you're dealing with any kind of mundane stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta deal with what within first, you gotta clear up within with this stuff. So you got this instruction, you got this said, you know, what do you guys want me to do? Do you guys? Because I brought you guys everything you guys need to save yourself, take it in line. You know what I'm saying? Save yourself, right? You try to wake up other people and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You get them 3 times, it's like a ball game, you know what I'm saying? 3 strikes and you're out. You know? So you get them trying to convince somebody, your mom, dad, or somebody, you know you're on that energy, and trying to get them on that vibration wavelength. And it ain't working, 3 strikes, and it's like they're out, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it moving, keep it rolling, and you know, remember, you're each their own, right? We're all on a divine and spiritual journey right now, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we all have a lot of questions, and you know, you say it coming out of your, you know what I'm saying, whatever the process are, different forms of school of thought that you're in, right? So this, for me being here for the amount of years I've been in this, best advice I have to be just provide.
And it's sad, like, all the other schools of thought except this one. When it comes to the Nation of Islam, conventional Islamic practice, traditional conventional Islamic practices, 5%ers, I've delved in all of them. Rastafari, that's came from Christianity, all of it, and all, I'm not really sure about Buddhists and certain Kabbalah teachers or whatnot, but all of them are man first, the woman, the greater man. Woman, the greater man. I just said that, I clear and said I wasn't sure about Buddhism or Kabbalah, right? Right? So I know it's all male dominant rules, so that's why I know it's not even organic. It's not from the source, it's not from the essence, because if it was from the essence, they'll be pushing that female energy first, right? There would be no, oh, God's in the earth, and woman is supposed to be, no. She's first everything. Like nature is what teaches us, right? And the feminine principle in nature, when it comes to animals, plants, and stuff like that, is the ruling factor. So it's not a question.
So I was just going to say, I would sort of sum this up as this is the movement of religion that has no religion. Really, what this is the religion of no religion. And that would be religion of dogma, right? You're looking at what really religion is. I can't. I really want to have 2 seconds. Anyway, so this might be a good point to then bring up, because we were talking at the barbecue yesterday, and I think that this is some of the positive things that come out of us meeting in groups where we're socializing, is we decided, and Mocha can speak to this, and Nadia can speak to this as well, we're looking to start having a women's focus group, which will be happening. Now, this is to say that I've been in this movement for a minute now. We've had a women's auxiliary. The women's auxiliary tried to run, and this is sort of some of the stuff that again, just because if you're not having been here and having continuity, they tried. They tried to meet to sort of do things to talk about stuff, and it fell apart, or it just didn't happen. So we're not going to give up. We're going to continue on. So what it's going to be, Nadia, can you speak? You said that you teach a form of dance, or some discipline that you were saying.
I was just saying, I don't mind contributing the waistline therapy, dancing actually, just to get us together as a start, and whatever rules from that.
So what the plan would be, maybe we could start off at a certain time. They could start off with this dance thing, and then Tawana, I was looking at just figuring out how to get, because we have Sister Naeem in Buffalo, there's Sister Tawana, we have Naya, we have Awa, and any of the other women's auxiliary who want to be involved, but I was also thinking about not, because this is one of the things that I started to realize. I think separation is a bit of the issue. I see that we should have a women's focus group, but men should still be allowed to come from perspective. And then if you women want to go out and do something, that's fair enough. But I don't see, or at least on certain levels, at least that was some of my thoughts.
I was able to.
This is what we want. You see, I'm not just making jokes about this. I'm not into making jokes about this. This is serious stuff. We make jokes about it, and then we wonder why we're in the same situation. I'm talking about seriously. Anyways, so that's a thought. We'll continue that. I'm looking to start off in September, and not saying Sundays would be better, but I just think it makes for a long day. We're having class from 12 to 3, and either you're doing it 10 to 12, or you're doing it 4 to 6. I was thinking about having it on every other Saturday. And let's start, you ladies getting together and start talking about some of that stuff. But I don't think it should be done in a vacuum. Because what happens is then you have people coming in here saying, I've been in this and I've been in that, and I get it. But so where the men should be here? See, men who cause this problem, where are they? You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to talk about in our culture too. This isn't about women and men being separate. It's hopefully about us being together.
One comment with regard to the obey that Amor sent me. Brother Sheldon says Islam to everybody.
All right, so we got
Germany. We got Germany in now. So Brother Sheldon was saying, if the men were the ones who were made adepts during that time or given certain information, right, as far as the teachings, wouldn't they be the ones to teach women how powerful they really are? So maybe that is what the statement came from. That is why the prophet is carrying the woman. So maybe the woman's obey statement was more so, woman, obey your husbands, because they are the adepts that know how to get you back on track to taking your throne.
So as far as this women's stuff, this sister domiciles in Ottawa, right? So that means that you're willing to come down here occasionally to do the dance and all that. That's why I would love it. I know you would love it, right? It would be wonderful. It would be absolutely wonderful. Anytime you can, maybe after class we can sit and talk about it and find out when it would be available. We can start going from there. Because yes, we did have the women's auxiliary going. People have their lives. We lived all across from the west and the east, and it didn't always, take off the way we wanted it. But maybe this will be something that people will gravitate towards as well. As far as
Mother Mocha, and also too, you could also use the screen and have her in Ottawa doing her dance, and everybody's here chilling, doing their thing here. Yeah, for sure, of course. You already know that personality is.
I just wanted to make a little comment on the whole question from that Sister Teacher brought up about women obeying their husbands, etc. I think we have to understand that at the time that this was written, there was a certain mindset, and there were people coming from different religious backgrounds, etc. And our people were in turmoil as well, right? So that's one question.
Not until she finishes what she's saying.
I just want to interject.
No, I don't.
want to ask a question about it. Why? That's not what you said.
I feel like I was just about to get something out of what she was going to say.
Go ahead, Omar.
Listen, aren't we the same amount of stuff now?
We're living in a different time. That's just what it
Is
is.
it not the same problem?
We're
The
having
same problem, you don't know if it was the same quantity of,
Really? That's good.
Really?
Oh, really? I think that I'm up to my neck in this stuff. If you're saying it goes back then, wow. Because I'm up into my neck in this
Who
stuff.
knows, you weren't there back then and neither were we. We're in the now.
well, there was a difference in just the way things were run back then. Let's just put it that way. We're still in deep stuff. There's no two ways about it. We're going around, half of us are crazy. Yeah, no, there's no one crazy. We're gonna run around. The men got their pants down to their knees, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So we're in kind of a horrible shape right now. But I'm saying it was a different type of stuff. They weren't doing the things then that they're doing now, and we're not doing the things now that they were doing then. I don't think we had the same types of problems then. We didn't have the influx of guns and drugs, and did we?
No, it did not.
I think we had drugs back then. Definitely sure that the drug problems back then. All
When you say back then,
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking like even like Canada. She's talking about the pumpkin side. She's talking about the pumpkin side. Your mom's not 100 years old. My grandmother though was 100, right? So she was around at the Providence time, and they're still having the same problems back then. And the problems to me are worse now than they were back then.
Actually, I have to disagree with you. You know, they did to us things on a certain level that they're still doing now, but I don't think that the drugs were that prevalent. What they did was they said, well, you gotta be a sharecropper. You're never gonna own this piece of land, and you buy everything from us, and we were always in debt to them. So I don't think we had it in us to be in the drug world at that time. I don't know. I wasn't there, you weren't there either. My point though is that during those times, we were still all over the place, for want of a better word. Our families were developing, right? Yes, our women were working outside. Yes, our men were denied work. Yes, we were being lynched. Yes, all this stuff was happening. So when he wrote this, I guess his intention was to get the families back together. And a normal family is where as Dr. Phil Valentine says, the man will provide, produce, and protect. And that wasn't happening. That was taken away from him.
Back then.
Then and now. Pretty much. It's the result is the same, but they're using all different types of methods.
Different tactics and
Different tactics.
approaches and mechanisms, because now, back then, to me, it was more, they weren't even as advanced to know how to do certain things. So on a level of mind control or certain things, or mind manipulation, or things that they're putting out in the atmosphere, or certain technological things that they're using, they couldn't do back then because it wasn't advanced. Now it's easier to just make you use your phone and become numb. You know what I mean? And or put things in, like, you know, like a lot of using microwaves or whatever. I'm still one of them, maybe, or sending out certain frequencies, sending out frequencies in the light, you know, so it's use LED lights or certain things that numb us and dumb us down a bit. They didn't do it back then. Before they say, you know what, you're just gonna be dumb, not learning. Now they try to do it secretively or behind closed doors more, right? Because they know people are more aware. The world is more under a microscope. You know, you can know what's going on somewhere that you will never step foot on, right? You know exactly what they're going through. So now everybody is aware, so they have to do things more veiled, right? But it's still the same thing, but they're doing it different. Yeah, exactly.
The result of what my point though is, getting back to my sister's question, the whole connotation behind submission and obeisance is pretty negative to any woman nowadays, particularly a melanated. We've already been subjected to everything. We've already had to obey everybody. We've already had to be submissive to everybody. So when you come through this door for the first time and you hear that, it's going to be an offense to you. You won't feel it because you're not a man. Any more than I'm going to feel something when they, if they call me a chink and I'm a Chinese person. I'm not a chink. I'm not Chinese. So you can't feel what a woman feels. I can't feel what a man feels, no matter how early in the morning I get up. No, this is serious. And it's an excellent question because it might speak to why we don't have a bunch of women in here. I don't know, that's not the answer, but that's probably a part of it.
You notice that question, how far it takes us?
Yes, because it's big.
Off of the class. It's a very important question.
It was not for nothing. It was exactly what it was supposed to be.
That's
right. It was not for nothing.
No, I'm not saying, I want to say off, I mean like.
No, I know you say off of the.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's a chill on off.
Deep back, I'm sorry.
Deep back.
I started out the class for about 2 or 3 years before things started to gel in my head. This is true. This is usually I come and I listen and I ask the questions or what have you, but there were certain things that just seemed, they were completely foreign. completely foreign, because this is not where I was coming from. And yeah, I had a background, something like yours too, Rastafarianism, Club Tribe, you know, Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the whole nine. And we know about patriarchy, and we know about submission, and we know about sit in the back, you know, and don't say nothing. And for those of us coming to the Christian, that just open up any minds.
And not going to church
We
is
know-
a kind of Peter
You know, all this nonsense when you all, everybody came from a woman. So for anybody to tell a woman she got to take her back seat because that's what it sounds like, it's offensive in the beginning. What I'd like to know is, and if anybody wants to, you know, put in what their opinion is, if the prophet were here today and he was writing for us to, the rules for us to follow, would he have worded it the same way? That passage.
Or with his energy in the room, would we even take offense to it? Or
That too.
I think you can still word it the same way, because truth doesn't change the
That's
past
right.
ways.
That's right.
Not true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that it's very offensive coming from her.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it, there's so much.
And she's allowed to feel that way
Yeah,
until she gets clarity, and I think that's okay.
Well, how do you feel now that we've been able to like talk a little bit about it? Yeah.
Like when you know, I think it meant the way you feel when you hear it. No, if I say it again, will you feel the same way?
Right.
But again, that's all based on her. That's all based on
Well, that's
Yeah, we accept that, we accept that.
But thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Islam.
Do we still have anything
Any
to
other-
talk about the passage?
I know it is.
The passage is deep.
That's still going.
The passage is real deep.
The part that touched me, the part that touched me was, when it said, the end of her search is truth. Her means to discover it are reason and experience, but are not easy, uncertain, and fallacious. How then shall she attain unto it?
That's all. Verse 26.
Verse 26.
The end of her search is true. Her means to discover it are reason and experience. Right? So we go back to the beginning because it's kind of initiated it of who her was, right?
Yeah.
The blessings, oh man. I'll just go back to it for a second. The blessing, oh man, of thy eternal part itself, vigor and proportion. The greatest of these is wealth. Is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. Thou that has a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. See, not to know perfectly, it is untrue. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, how not these the soul. They are its actions, but they are not its essence. Raise it not too high, that thou be not despised, right? Exactly, like thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing. Right? Actions of soul. Don't raise your soul too high to despise. Don't think you're too better than anybody else, you're too high. That, yeah, exactly. Right? Be thou like unto those who fall, be not like unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of truth. So it's like, it's just saying like higher and lower self, you master both and keep it on a certain level. Like there's passages in the Bible that are like this, in like Ecclesiastes, right? You want to Ecclesiastes? I think it's number 5, Ecclesiastes 5, it tells you the same thing, like, so be not too righteous or be not too evil, right? Because there has to be maintain a balance, right?
I don't really think that's speaking to what I was even saying. I was just saying.
No, I was just trying to find the part where initially where we said where she was talking about she, like what is she in this, and it was talking about, I guess it was referring to the soul, right? So it says she, she is immortal. She is unchangeable. She is verse 9. She is alike in all. Right? And then you're saying the end of her search is truth, right? So I'll try to find out who her was again. They told you talking about it.
We're not really looking at talking about it because you're stopping at one part of this thing I read.
I didn't finish it.
You didn't even let me finish what I was doing.
Go ahead.
Well,
When I was reading here where it says, how then shall she attain unto it? I wanted to open the door to have the answer. There's a question mark at the end of that. Number 26. It says, but are not reason and experience weak, uncertain and malicious? How then shall she attain unto us? So I wanted us to expound on that, the second part of that. It just doesn't, I don't get it all in that, what it says.
Sorry, what you got again? Well,
26.
26.
Yeah. Like what you take out of that. Obviously, it doesn't make sense, but I want to understand it.
So the ultimate, the finish line is the truth. You got that part clear. In order to discover that truth is her reason and actually going through, or the application of the knowledge that you get, which is going to be the experience. The reason why, but are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious? Because you already got to the part of truth. Like once you get to the end, if the end of the search is truth, there's nothing else for you to want once you get the truth. Like truth is the place where you ultimately want to be.
Okay, now I get it. Now I'm reading it back. So it's like even though these things are weak, uncertain, foolishness, there's no way to get to that part until you go through the certain things, whether they're the highs of life or the lows of life.
The lows of life, the weak, the strong, the uncertain, the certain. You have to have the experience in order for you to find that truth. Even though it's, even though the lowest level of getting there is these things, right?
I think you might need to look up things too, because everybody wants relationship.
Yeah, fallacy. What I look at it
So
for,
like,
yeah.
it's like simple, you know, like the truth is like, it's like the case law is there, you know, you go deep into like it's already there for you, you know, you not go deep into like something when it's already there, you know. But we know we always try to seek out something when it's like, you know, like how Fujo said, the truth is there, you know, but for some reason our people love to dig deeper.
Go through all these different things before they attain that.
And then it gets uncertain, and then it gets cloudy and murky, and then it's uncertain. And right here it says it's, you know, it's, you don't know what's the outcome, but the truth is already there for you. But you decide to just go, you know, you disregard that and go, you know, reasoning and finding out for yourself. And start
It comes from being distracted, like when you come in, you're born into the earth, you're distracted with so many different things. You could be taught just this one thing growing up your whole life. But, you know, like you said, you have to go through all these different schools of thought. I've been to different schools of thought to get to where I'm at now, so I understand. That makes sense.
And then, sorry, and then also too, 27 also gets the furthermore of the weak, uncertain, fallacious attitudes, which ultimately are just people's opinion that have no proof of truth. They're just flapping gums because they think they can say something, right? But the person who has the experience, you know, that's why we always make the statement of, if you want to know about Moors, ask Moors. Don't ask black guys. Don't ask Kemetic guys. Don't ask Hebrew guys. Don't ask all these people who got something to say about Moors, but they're not Moors. I want to ask Moors about Moors so you can actually be clear as to what the truth about Moors are. Or like Sister was saying, study Noble Juali, you'll get some truth about Moors. Opposed to, well, that guy over there had a video saying that Noble Juali was whatever, and then it was 3 hours. We watched that, and now we know how. Well, not really, because that individual has nothing. You know, just like you said, somebody from the outside coming in, and then they sit here for one day, then they're going out there and talk. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about women gotta obey men and all this type of stuff, whatever. They say this is religious, and I hear them say Allah and I'm Christian and all that stuff, and they don't even know that. You know, Allah is arm, leg, arm, head. Islam is I, self, law, and master. Quran is knowledge, order, rhythm. They're not even looking at it from the perspective that it's supposed to be looked at. So, which again goes back to the opinion is not proof of truth. People are entitled to their opinion. You could have it, but we don't have to accept that as truth. That's just your opinion, especially if you're not part of what it is that, you know, is really the subject matter. Omar.
Or you sort of touched on it, but so I didn't know how you began to start what exactly you guys were looking at, but it's the next two verses or stanzas that answer, right? Because the end of it is what it is. And what this is talking about is who we are, what our process here. It's just talking about the middle process, being the soul. There's the flesh, the soul, and the spirit. And they're talking about the soul in this one, and what that is to us. And then it's telling you in that 26 that the end of it is truth. And then it's telling you that the way to the truth is through all the experiences you have, but all those experiences are nonsense. And then it basically tells you that what it is the knowledge of him who creates thee, him or her, the creator. The knowledge of the creator, the sense of worship that you owe to that, the creator, which is within yourself, because you are that, are not these playing before thy face. We are God. We are all God. And behold, what is there more that men needed to know? The truth. Which is love.
No one will say what he said.
This is what I realized. This is why we have to understand and be careful. This thing is divinely written, right? So what we understand is that this is going to hit you exactly where you're at. The person, when I read this 10 years from now, I'm going to be going off to Mars. Right now, I'm just getting the first steps.
And 10 years ago when you read it, you're like, what is this?
But what it did do, and we all know this, it
started
process. It's like you're walking up a mountain. You get to the top, and you've now reached the end of the forest. Now you can look back and see the forest of trees. That's how I like it. Then you're going to get the next step. That's what this is. That's what the progression is. First, it's the flesh. All of that, everything that absorbs in us right now. Flesh is everything to us. But meanwhile, in the back, niggling in the back, is this soul. That's the love. That's all the stuff that we do, all that stuff that has nothing to do with the flesh, right? But it's still tied up in the flesh. And then the last part of it is the ascension back into the oneness, which is the everythingness. Right? Now that stuff is the crazy stuff. But what I see this being is somewhat of a preparation to the soul, which is really what the next step is. Because there is no death. That we all run around fearing death in one form or another.
Well, we got some words there, Brother Yasser?
Fallacious, number one, embodying a fallacy. And it says, tending to deceive or mislead. And then the root word in that is fallacy, guile, trickery. deceptive appearance, deception to a false or mistaken idea, erroneous character, an often plausible argument using false or valid inference.
So that's what they're saying, reason and experiences.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Same that. Yeah. Under her. So when you say her, you're talking about soul, right? So the end of her search is truth. The means to discover it are reason and experience. But are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious, how then shall she attain unto it? And then, like you guys said in the last chapter, saying like perception of thyself, the knowledge of him or who create the sense of worship that owes onto her, are not these pain before thy face. Right? So that's saying like, everything else doesn't matter, like it just nothing matters. Right? It said, and behold, what is there more that men needed to know?
Myself.
Right, other than thyself.
Study yourself.
Your answer is 28.
And then hold on, and then as you notice, right, the very next chapter is the pinnacle of wisdom. And so he's divinely prepared this to march you through this, right? Because you wouldn't just read this by itself.
Yeah.
You then go to the next one. And then you go into what that is. Telling you that wisdom yet again to is another stepping stone. John already. Here we go.
342. And then also too, remember, especially with the new people that, like we were saying with the wording, there's going to be things that you might hear and you're, oh my gosh, he said, Jesus, I can't deal with this or whatever. But there's more going on because of the time frame that this was prepared for. And if all the different schools of thought that we were part of did what they were supposed to do in this time frame, we wouldn't need this right now. Because we already have all the lessons, we already went through all the steps. If you go through chapter 1 all the way to chapter 48, it's leading you through, it's showing you how Jesus got himself right. And then Noble Drawley is telling you how you can get yourself right. And then at the end of it, you have your constitution, you have your flag, you have your nationality, you have your culture back, and then you're supposed to be being yourself now, because everything was given back to us, right? But again, it's a process because of how far that we fell from adopting these foreign names that weren't really what our identity is. And every time we grab one, say that we're a Negro, then somebody comes and says, oh no, we don't want to be that, we want to be black. Okay, well then we'll be black, and we keep falling, we keep regressing. Because humanity doesn't work like that. Like humanity says, Chinese, and they've been that. Germans, they've been that. They ain't coming up here and then 2009 say, oh yeah, well, Germans were white at one time, and then they were, butterscotch, and then they were all these different things to get to where they're at. They had what it is that they're supposed to have. Him bringing these things back to us, even going back to the chapter with what we were just talking about, like what more do you want? Drawley made a statement about your nationality, your birthright. So what do you want me to do? Kill you? Like what else is there for you to get? What more do our people have to be presented with? They had Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Jewel Pooker, Francis Creswell Singh. You still need a lecture right now? You've been teaching this stuff for years, metaphysics and all this type of stuff, occult, whatever, rituals, what. You still don't, you know what I mean? I was talking with somebody about, Bobby Hemmett giving 50 book references in a minute. You still got problems? How you still got problems when he gave you 50 books to tell you, get yourself right? That you apply that stuff, your stuff will be right tomorrow. Even though he was, overweight and drank liquor and whatever like that, the stuff that he was presenting was for us to get ourselves out of the stuff that we're saying, oh, well, how come we're going through this and how come you guys going through it? Why are we doing? You know what I mean? Things Phil Valentine talking about 20 years ago. That's supposed to be, oh yeah, Phil, we rep some Phil Valentine or whatever, and then you still going through the same stuff. Things that he talked about that are happening now, which proves that, you know, he was in tune with certain metaphysical whatever. You seen it going on today that he was talking about that before he had grays or whatever. He probably was right with what he was saying. But did the people take consideration to what was said? Just like Brother C. Freeman, who made this chart, said that, you know, all these people in the 1920s missed Noble Drew Ali because they were looking for Jesus. And they recognized that Noble Drew Ali was Jesus. Come back to them again. And they threw him under the bus, just like they did Jesus, just like they did Yahshua, whatever name you want to use. Same way that his own put him on the cross and all that stuff, same way Noble Drew Ali's own put him on the cross. You know, and then left us now here to deal with all the BS that we got to deal with, which all these problems should have been solved. You know, and again, when we look at the different chapters, and he's talking about holy instructions for your children. Well, if they're going to
quickly interrupt though, Chris, just so we're getting down the line. One of the things that you talked about before was that some of this literature may have been actually altered.
tampered, yes.
Tampered.
Yeah.
And that may have been done just for this. That may have been done just for this. Because you're saying him, she, whatever, all of a sudden everyone's running around. They lost their head because of some stuff. And that could have been done just very simply.
Deliberate.
Because words are spells. And spells are what we live by. So all of a sudden now you guys are turned off in your brain because you've heard obeyed. Maybe that could have been any, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, it could have been any word, yeah. It could have been some other synonym.
You could have said, women, have your men obey you. You'd be all right with that, right? It could have been women, or it
I
could have been.
understand what you're saying though.
Yeah. So that's what I would try to say before. That's some of the stuff with being involved with this particular movement too, that there was infiltration. And that the books, the very books that were supposed to be the stuff to get us out of this, were altered. And Kuzo can speak to this. We get different versions of the Quran, right?
Now, this is why the essence of what is taught is really what it's about. This is why it's about, you know, when we say, for example, Islam, that you put mystic in front of it dealing with us. Don't more say Islam and then you're going to the mosque to go ask them about Moors. Like that's not what we're about, even though they say Allah too. Or they might say Muhammad, or they might say Salat, or, you know, whatever. It's not the same discipline. The discipline is going like that. Yeah.
Just one last thing, because when you made your comments about what the prophet said, I give you your nationality, your birthright, what else? Because you were saying once you got to the end of this, you have your flag yet, or whatever. One of the things I thought that you missed, though, probably just out of the first thing you have is you have your families back.
Mm-hmm.
That would happen before anything else.
Right.
Your stuff would be right and correct. Then everything else would move from that. So when he said that, that was on the assumption that your families would be right and correct. Because that's what this would then give us, back all of that. So we would have the triangle, the mother, father, son principle, or in reality, and then we would move on. That's what they destroyed. That's what I realized. It's the family that they destroyed.
Yeah.
You're distracted with everything else, but really all they did was make sure to tear up mom and dad.
And then that's why also too the reference point of this is nation, nationality, which is family.
Natal.
Right? Yeah, right. Not the you know, because like we even tell people who are in this, they might say, "Oh yeah, I went to my uncle and my tried to put them on, and they didn't want them because they're not family." In this life, they're your relatives. Your family are people who are on your mindset. Like your real family are people that you think about them, they call you. That's your family. Right? If you're not having those experiences with people, these synchronicities in life, then they're probably not really that anchored or tied or bound to you like they're supposed to be, right? Like Sister Virginia, there's a bound to Canaanland because she's been to all these other different Moorish whatever, and they don't gravitate on her frequency where she's at. It's nothing to do with Moors there or Moors there. She's on a certain frequency. She's vibrating on a certain pace, and that has to match up in order for this to make sense to you, right? Like just like with her going to visit some other temple, and as soon as you walk in the door, and they're talking about, but they're saying Noble Drawley instead of Jesus. Right? Same thing like what they got going on next door or whatever, but instead of people coming out with the big hats or whatever, they got turbans, fezzes on, walking out of the place next door. Right? And you walk in there and you see that automatically, you're going to shut completely off. You're not just going to shut that one that you went to. You're going to say, all these Moors are probably crazy. If I went to that one temple and that's what the experience was. Right? And again, this is all part of the whole infiltration. Why we don't know about this, why, all these other organizations, groups are at a certain position or whatever. You look at the Moors like, the Moors are founding of civilization and they don't have anything going on. But everybody else got stuff. You know what I mean? Like, why is that? Then you ask the question, well, all these other organizations have people who founded them. You know about them. They were around the same time as Noble Drawley or whatever. You don't know about Noble Drawley? That should raise flags. To let people say, hold on a second, something's definitely wrong here if we don't know about this one individual. You know about everybody else across the board. Male, female, slave, free, African king, whatever. You know about them. And Noble Drawley, that you say that name, and everybody's looking around and they don't know what you're talking about or whatever. You start talking about fezzes and turbans, and people are only thinking about Hindus and Masons and stuff like that, and have no connection to us whatsoever. It's all part of the game.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, have you guys read that or seen that before? Yes or no? It's not in here. You read it?
Not all of it, but
Oh, I just want to say I read a few books, mainly the one from the church, right? I had to read it. If you had a devotions or whatever, that you had to read it. It was not an easy read, or English, you know what I mean? That is an easy read, and that's the best read I've ever read. Like the instructions for the family, the children, and I'm not even married, but like the husband and wife, that stuff. I swear, they took that and then made the Bible stuff obviously. I don't know, but that seems like the original stuff. So it's a really, really good read for anything. That's what I found in my short time.
I want to touch on one more thing according to the Quran as well. After the first chapter is the creation and the fall of man, and right after that, the second chapter, right? And then in this one, the Roman numeral, so you see the two pillars, right? The gateway, and it still happens to be on chapter, and smaller Quran has to be on chapter 11 as well. I mean, on page 11 as well. There's another gateway, and right after the prophet spoke about the creation and fall of man, he brought it right back to the education of Mary and Elizabeth. I'm not looking at it from a perspective that they were father prepared by somebody, but like people were talking about Joshua and what he had to do, and then the prophet is him reincarnated in our time. But right away, the prophet went in and let you know, if it wasn't for Mary, right, Mary, or that's Joshua's mother. Elizabeth is the harbinger's mother, right? The one who came before to prepare the way for the messenger, right? Which is John the Baptist, right? But without them being ready or being right, John and Jesus couldn't manifest right either. So it all comes back to her. And then you did no matter what, because if they weren't right and didn't prepare them to come out of the womb the right way, all those teachings would come out. So really the teachings is right? So you didn't start out just talking about, okay, Yahshua is here, and then Yahshua, you have to pay homage and acknowledge
To the mother.
the mother who came before. Right, so.
Simple terms, in my mother's time, me in her belly, she never know about phone. Now in this time, no, my children in their mother belly know about phone, and they're born in what use phone, and I still don't know if you. They're getting it from
Yeah.
the mother.
Yeah. Straight.
Yeah, so they don't use this, and I still don't know if you.
Right, because God, I was just pointing out to me, and that's what I was just reading. I didn't really want to get to say. That verse 10 says, Elihu said to Mary and Elizabeth, right? But I don't want to use like, okay, he's teaching, but he's doing that under authority of
yeah.
Right? So Elihu said to Mary and Elizabeth, you may esteem yourself thrice blessed, 3 times blessed, right? Trinity power, triune principle. 3 times blessed, for you are chosen mothers of long promised ones. So it's like it was already ordained and destined. And then 11 goes on to say, who are ordained to lay a solid rock, a pure foundation stone on which the temple of the perfect man shall rest, a temple that shall never be destroyed. Right? So we measure times by cycle ages, and the gates of every age redeem a milestone in the journey of the race. An age has passed, the gate unto another age flies open at the touch of time. This is the preparation age of soul. Right, Dr. So again, the kingdom of the man of Allah and man. Right? Woman and man. Right? And these your sons will be the first to tell them you and teach the gospel of goodwill to men and peace on earth.
Right? That's why the prophet was the one to say uplift all the men, women and stuff. The men are going to be the ones to take leadership roles. Just like,
you didn't go to know, Elijah didn't go to know, sorry, he didn't go to know, what's his name? What's I can't remember. What's Mary's husband supposed his name was? Joseph, right?
Joseph.
You didn't go to Joseph and say, yo, go plant your seed in a woman, and then your seed is gonna manifest this greatness and this generation that, according to the Bible, that could see the signs or whatever, the grains of sand and stuff like that, right? It was the mother you have to work, but that's where everything started.
Yeah.
And it continues with.
Yeah. Islam.
And just one last quick little thing, Mr. Ali also says that he doesn't identify his parents because he doesn't want the same thing that happened to Mary and Joseph, which is really him paying homage to his gender, which would have been his mom and his father, right? It would have been his parents. So he came, the perfected person comes from that where they came from. So obviously, Jesus is only as great as Mary was.
Right.
To a certain degree.
Islam. Any last questions or comments before we close out?
Circle 7 is the read of the day, the week, the year.
All right, Mars, we'll give thanks once again. Thanks once again. Thank you for our out-of-towners, for being here for this year. It's a great weekend. It's a great weekend. Unfortunately, Brother Setner and them had to go back early, so they left already, but honors to them too. And of course, to all the Moors near Canaanland, in Canaanland, standing up on their birthrights and making sure that they get this word out and get the word in them so that we can have some type of impact out here with this truth that we got.
Looking to have, as I said, a camp out late August or early September. That'll hopefully be once again, maybe honor the last of the seasons where we can be outside comfortably. Because I know a lot of us mowers don't like the snow.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Call on me to hit on some snow.
Also, I want to give honor to Cujo for maintaining the consistency over the years too.
July 28th in Ottawa, that's the Soul City Music Festival. The board's going to be there. So if you're anywhere near Ottawa, come on through to the free festival. We'll be battle thing and come and honor your flag and your nation.
Islam.
It's going to be there.
All right, we'll close out. One more thing, man. One more thing, man. Push fast. Put it out one time.
Yeah, the 21st is our next brunch, July 21st. So if you're not making it out to Ottawa, gotta come out to the brunch, okay?
Place where the place where it's at.
Let's say place 880 Ellesmere Fusion. All you can eat vegan brunch. Come through.
Right at the corner of Canaanland.
So every now and then, with every brunch, I'm trying to reach out to, they're called influencers. Last time I reached out to this guy named Cabby. I don't know if you know Cabby. Cabral Richards. He works for TSN, and I've brushed him up on nationality, but I was busy, and I think that was the deal of the wall. He never got the chance. That was a chance for somebody to break it down to him. So more showing up to the brunch, just more than just supporting me. Yeah. It's your chance to, instead of you sitting here amongst each other, it's your chance to break bread with all these other people and do what you're supposed to, just like you did last time. Remember the brunch there? We sat there for hours talking to that lady.
I know.
I wish somebody was there to talk to Cabby. You know what I mean? Just be like, yo, this is what's going on. Bam, 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 bam. But please try to reach out, because I'm trying to reach out to them. It's a meeting spot for all of us. You know what I mean?
Islam. Start, Morris. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, Father of the universe. Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector. My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. His holy prophet. Islam. Ashik.
Everybody's listening.
Everybody's at Mocha's ear. Islam, boys. Peace and love. Give thanks for all the support. Give thanks for all the vibes. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Islam.